Hey guys, welcome to another episode, and this is episode 6 of season 1, and we are going to talk about some of the things that we can do as young people to start now to prepare for what is coming ahead of us, and how we can do certain things and use the technology that we have provided to us for the betterment of what the people around us and ourselves. So hope you enjoy this episode, guys, and I welcome you once again to this podcast, which is Breakout by Nkumbu's Corner. Alright guys, so welcome once again to this podcast and this episode for the season 1, and I'm really glad that you are listening to this, and we're going to continue this episode from where we ended in the previous episode, and we're going to talk about certain things that we as young people can do in order to really help ourselves to not be left out in this tech age, in the place where we have a lot of data out there on the internet, a lot of information, a lot of content on the internet. So I would like to first start this episode by asking you a question, which is how much of the functions of your phone do you use? Do you use 10%, 20%? I don't know if it's 30%. I'm not talking about battery percentage. Don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about the functions of your phone. Would you say I use 100% of my phone? I use the camera, I use the internet, I use everything. I use the GPS, I use what and what. That's what I'm talking about. So what kind of percentage would you give yourself? Well, no matter what percentage you have given yourself, I just want you to think about this. How many people out there are really getting the most out of their gadgets? You find that very few people out there are using the most out of their gadgets, and the reason is simple, because we are so accustomed to what is trending, Like for instance, if there is TikTok, I'll simply put it in my app, in my phone, the app in my phone, and use it just like everybody else is using it, and not really to think outside of how I can utilize other functions of my phone. So like we limit ourselves by following trends in the name of this is what's trending, but in the actual sense we are left out to tap into the other functions of what the gadgets that we have. So let me give you an example. For instance, you are having a smartphone. It may be iPhone, it may be Samsung, or whatever, Android, or any other phone that you may be having. I just want to give you this scenario. There are two kinds of people. This first individual has a very good working smartphone, but this person has a very high ability or interest in tapping into how well they can use that phone. So he goes on the internet, downloads application, maybe he's a photographer, he's a content creator, whatsoever he's doing. Uses this phone to provide content, to create content, to provide maybe information, or to socialize and connect with people, make connections. And the other person simply uses his phone to watch videos on Facebook and watch videos on TikTok and stuff like that, just for entertainment, and WhatsApp, that's all, to receive messages and some kinds of content. You agree with me that the first person would enjoy more, the first person will benefit more from their phone. And you may find that many people go in certain shops and look for a smartphone and find the price to be like very high, and they're like, no, it's expensive and stuff like that. Honestly speaking, I would personally say that the cheapest things on earth right now, with the kind of power and ability that they have to help us in terms of the tech world, it's a handheld mobile phone. The reason is simple. It's portable. You can do anything from anywhere. You can do a lot of things on your smartphone, but you're underusing it. You may be a young lady, maybe you're into fashion, you're into design, you're into what and what. You can spend much of your time learning about what's trending, learning about the fashion, downloading apps on how you can how you can design certain things, how you can make certain designs of what you think is right, looking at how other people think in your line of field, in your line of interest. It's just like something that we can really do at any time, If it's an artist, there are apps out there that can help artists make beats, help artists learn about how to make beats, help artists do what. There are apps for designers, there are apps for bloggers, there are apps for a lot of things. So the only question is, what is the line that you would like to learn? What is it that you would like to do on your smartphone that would make you feel that you're getting the most out of your phone and not just it draining and eating up your time? So it really takes us to have that desire, a shift that I think I'm gonna do this, setting goals to say I think I'm gonna learn to do this and this and this and this with my phone. I think I'm gonna learn to do this and this and this with my iPad. I'll do this and this with my computer. I'll do this, and because at the end of the day, there are massive opportunities. There are massive things that we can learn to do on our smartphones, that we can learn to do on our gadgets. It only takes one thing, and that is the desire for us to know how we can use them. Because there are a lot of opportunities that we can tap into if we learn how to use how to use our smartphones productively, how to use our gadgets productively. It will really help us and not only build our lives but also change the lives of other people. There are certain people, maybe let me give an example of a blogger. This young lady, this young man, he's saying, no, I need a big camera. I need a very nice equipment. Then I'm going to start. You find that we are procrastinating most of the times, but we have the camera in our hands. We have the internet in our hands, but we're procrastinating most of the times. By the time we realize, the idea we thought we had has already been taken. It's already obsolete. It's not really going to be a very nice moment when we have run out of the energy, that zeal that we had to do the thing that we desired to do, because the time has already passed. So it really calls for us young people to really look around and think seriously, to say, what is it that I really want to do? What are some of the plans that I've really set? And I can use my phone to really help other people, to help and inspire other people, to touch the lives of other people, because you may be keeping your phone, using it for WhatsApp, using it for text messages only, without knowing the massive power and ability and functionality that your phone has, that your gadget has. And it's simply there being underused, undervalued. It's because we are not having that drive to really know, how can I use my gadget for the betterment of my resources, for the betterment of myself, for the betterment of other people? When we have that desire and understanding, you find that even as we have that phone, we'll learn to value it. We'll learn to understand why it's costing a certain amount, and we'll simply see that amount to be very, very cheap. Because the same amount you may spend on getting your phone, if we know how to utilize it well and use it in a very positive and productive manner, we can really, really retain the same money that we spent on our mobile phones. We can retain the money that we spend on our laptops, because this time it's all about knowing how to use the technology for our benefit. It is something that if a person had to come back who was there a lot of years that have passed, would simply be like, well, you have a lot of opportunities that are ahead of you, but you do not know how to use them. So let me leave you with this question before we listen and have an opportunity to discuss more on how we can do this in the next episode. Is when you leave this episode and when you stop listening to this episode, what are some of the things that you are going to write down, that you are going to use your phone for? What are some of the things that you would say, well, I have used my phone to do this. I think I will use my phone to do this. What are some of the resolutions that you said after listening this podcast? That is what matters, guys. So watch out for the next episode as we now go further to discuss even more details on how we can use the smartphones, how we can tap into the power of the smartphones, and how we can be able to use these gadgets for the betterment of us and the people around you. It's going to be an interesting episode, and hope to see you and to see you listening to the episode, and to share the episode to other people, to also enable them to know what is happening, how they can use the technology for their betterment, and to also touch and inspire their lives.